This is really cool. This is properly like a video game. But I think maybe we need a new driving test for this, huh?
I guess.
So guys, Vision AVTR. It is something that is completely different to what you would have seen before in a concept car. And when you look at something like this, you really do think, well, is it actually going to work? And on the face of it, it doesn't really look like it, does it? But this is actually a drivable car, and I will show you that later on. But as I said, to really appreciate this car, come a bit closer, let's have a look around properly, and I'll show you every little bit before we go out and see how this thing actually drives. So guys, here we have the AVTR. We've actually brought it inside of the hangar that we had it in front of just now, just so you can appreciate these LEDs. Now you note the car was sleeping, and as we've approached it, now the lights have turned on. Now as we come around, probably one of the biggest highlights of the car itself, which is the really interesting wheels. Now these are based on the wood sprites from Avatar. And as you can see in their standard form, they kind of glow blue, which is really quite interesting. And they can do all sorts of interesting things. I'm going to show you some of the safety features later, but they do show different elements as well. So for example, we could show the first one, I believe was air, which is showing now. And then we have water, like spring water. You can see it's kind of flowing out. And the one after that is earth, which shows all the colors of Avatar and the earth, etc. And finally, the last one is fire, which you would expect to be red, but it's not. It's more like pulsating energy instead, which is cool. Now, of course, this lighted star in the middle as well. And what I found really interesting is, in fact, the tire, which is not your traditional tire. Again, those lines looks a bit more organic. And look, you'll see a little Mercedes-Benz star hiding in there like you have in the F1 cars. So let's head inside now. We're gonna get the doors open, which is a very cool process in itself. You'll notice straight away, first of all, your typical ambient lighting like you'd find even in today's Mercedes-Benz cars. Right guys, now we're gonna head inside. Now, everything is run by this center merge controller, if you like. That's what they call it, because it merges the driver with the vehicle. Now, to wake up the car, all I need to do is bring my hand close to the merge device. And there you'll see it's raised. And look at the energy coming out of that, so-called energy anyway. And there you see the world of Avatar. But there's no buttons, so how do you make selections? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna raise my hand here, then you'll see these selections come up, different ones. We're gonna choose this one perhaps. And you see, you will find a tree here that was very famous in Avatar. We're gonna choose that. You can see the pulse went through the car. And we wind up. Oh, I chose the other one, I chose the mountains. We've ended up in the mountains here of Avatar, as you can see. And that is kind of how the selection process works. Very simple, you just go through different selections here. I'm going to show you an animal. It's the Banshee, I believe. Then you see the Banshee turned up. Completely different way of interacting with the car. Very futuristic, very forward thinking. Now let's go and check out the rear. So guys, now we're approaching the rear. You can see kind of the flaps waking up. That was pretty awesome, wasn't it? And did you see how the rear light turned on? Now that rear light, again, if you think of the old Mercedes concepts that we've seen, should be pretty familiar. We've got a lighted rear Mercedes star as well. You can see how the ambient lighting kind of hits the floor. Almost like a welcome light as well, which is awesome. More interest in telling you though about these fins. They serve many purposes. For example, aerodynamic purposes. You can imagine them being used to increase downforce. But also, let's say if you're braking with the car, look at that. They turn red like a brake light, and so do the wheels, which is, again, incredible. It's good safety, it looks great, but it also has a function as well. So guys, here we are inside the Vision AVTR. I'm here with head engineer of the electric drivetrain element, which is Boris. Boris, thank you for showing us around.